Good evening, and welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness. Selena Whitaker has had a very rough couple of nights, and they do not seem to let up. They seem to be intensifying in shittiness. She has just been told to go to her room, essentially, by the warlord after pissing off a Bruja in the bunker. Granted, the Bruja are easier to piss off than others, but still, not a good situation. She's walking back to her room, and how is Selena feeling at this moment? What is she doing?
She's feeling incredibly sad, frustrated, angry. There's all kinds of emotions swirling around inside her, and she's attempting to stomp into her room, but it's all taking its toll, and she is still in a lot of pain, and she's just been punched again. So um, her shoulders would be, despite the proud aspect that she's trying to keep up. Her shoulders are starting to sag. It's starting to show. Her face is kind of grimaced a little, and her head's kind of uh, dropped, and she's just kind of trying to get into her room before she's seen um, by the majority of the people in the bunker. She's still a proud creature, even though she is now caitiff.
Selena, I heard there was a bit of a ruckus. I was actually a bit afraid.
She look up, and on seeing Theodore, her face will kind of brighten somewhat, and she'll say, "Oh, Theodore, darling," and then she'll catch herself and say, "I'm, I'm sorry. Um, yes, Theodore, sir, there was a little trouble."
Hmm. He stands there for a moment, just looks at her. He's staring at her. I'll have to roll for it. Um, you can tell that a discipline's being used. Um, he just stares at you. He just says, "Hmm, I'm sorry I haven't been talked to you. In private, I would have, but well, things are progressing a lot faster than I wanted to. But I hope you don't mind me saying, but you look as though you could use a drink or
Oh, she seems a little taken aback, um, as if she's kind of almost accepted that most people are going to shun her now. Um, but she kind of tries to hide that. But I mean, Theodore would pick up on it. And she says, yes, that would be um, that would be most appreciated. Thank you."
two. As she usually does, actually. And just see if she, how much damage does she have at this point?
She has her three ag and a bashing.
Okay, so she is actually reduced in movement speed. He will help her, assist her, have a hand around her back to just support her, and he will fairly quickly parade her to his private quarters. After he's done opening and closing and all the things down to it, he will escort her over to a chair, and he will just say, "Please sit down." And he will go over and procure a, well, what he picks out is a large, it's like a 2-gallon jug that he just places down. Just, I don't know if you've fed recently, but that should suffice, I hope.
He would see, as the way her eyes go to the jug, that she's hungry.
He will open it, and he will get out like a pint glass, like a large glass, and he will serve her a pint of blood.
And she'll take it from him and say, "Thank you, Theodore." And then all of the normal ladylike facade that she puts on is just gone, and she just starts glugging this stuff. Obviously, she hasn't been able to go out and hunt or anything, so yeah, she's hungry.
He will pour her another, and then he will sit down. And he doesn't say anything, just looks at her.
And she'll drink a good bit of the second one, and then kind of almost like she's realizing she realizes once her hunger's um, been sated a little, that she's just been very unladylike, and she'll kind of wipe the corners of her mouth with one hand and look at him and say, I apologize. I was rather hungry.
Hmm. Well, it's quite all right. Trust me, I've had many situations where etiquette failed me due to a certain thirst. Quite understandable. And I can already tell that you are learning, which is a good sign. Do not take this the wrong way. Remember how to say this. You already seem to assume that everyone will treat you as per your new station, shall we say. That is adaptation, and that is a good lesson to learn. One that is more helpful than a lot of access to a lot of things. Access to cocktail parties, willingness to talk to this person and this person. They're all effective, but adaptation to a new situation is good, and I implore you deeply. All the hits you take now, this this is what matters. This is what will make you a formidable woman. Now, do not take what I say the wrong way when I say that this is probably not the situation you have been used to, either in your life or unlife. I might presume that you were pampered or shielded in some way. It is only natural for certain things to happen, which is why I am, well, glad that you had survived, that you were not sentenced to death by our illustrious prince, that you are in a position now where you can learn and become much stronger. And for that, I am quite happy. Not that I enjoy seeing you in the state you're in, but, well,
She will listen to his words and nod slowly, and then as she looks up at him, she'll just say, Theodore, I it's important that you know I didn't break any traditions. I never intended to break them. I never would. It was all a stupid plan, a misunderstanding. It it all backfired on me.
certain things will backfire on you.
But it is
You're learning.
important.
You're
I
learning for the first time what it is to be at the very bottom. This is something that my clan is gifted, shall we say, from our embrace and onward. Remember the first time you met our good future prince, when she was in danger but did not seem to mind it too much, was at a costume party. Remember?
Yes.
Now, do you remember how I acted towards her?
Yes. I remember.
Dignified, respectful, as one should be. Do you remember what she told me? Well, do you remember what she told you? Actually, she did not speak directly to me, as far as I recall.
She was not at all complimentary regarding yourself or your clan, if I recall.
Correct. And yet, the first time she was near me and, well, was talking about or around me, where she did not simply want me dead, was not that long after my embrace, and I have had to listen to that for quite some time. This gives you a lot of opportunities to perfect your, what shall we say, distance to people who are unworthy of the power that they hold, which I believe she is. She is a disaster in many regards. One should not break the traditions, but I understand the sentiment. Trust me. He smiles a bit at that.
She kind of leans forward and it's as if she can't hold it in anymore. She just says, "But Theodore, please tell me that you won't let her be prince of this city. Not after all of this that we've gone through and this terrible war we're all fighting. Please tell me you won't let her do it. I mean, you could run for prince. You implied it yourself. You could do it.
She
You could run
has
against her."
she has forced my hand, and I really wish that this was. I really wish that that precious princess would have waited, had the good sense to at least wait until it's about gone to start all this nonsense. But you know that they teach, it's a modern thing. They meet like the triangle of fire. Like when you remove one of the sides of the triangle, you stop the fire. Either you fire, either you remove the thing that is burning, you remove the heat, or you remove the oxygen. Right? You know, the danger triangle. She is, in a sense, an unbreakable triangle, complete and utter incompetence when it comes to leadership, a very, very high likelihood and almost enjoyment in projecting cruelty to her subjects when there is no reason for it, and a complete lack of ability to take any form of constructive criticism. Worst abilities of a leader, you have to really, really, really look for a long time. It cannot be allowed, and I won't allow it. I will, and I have already began to make, well, inquiries to some of our local populace. Thus far, it's not been that as obstructionist as I feared. I do hold the plan, my own plan of support, and I honestly believe that while she holds all the European connections, the Atlantic Ocean has a very, very different kind of distance to it for our kind, as opposed to mortals. Sure, they support her, but I do honestly believe if no one in the city supports her claim, well, she will have a very hard time controlling this city. Another thing that Camarilla Heartliners might not like is my somewhat unique position to be able to dissuade the anarchs more so than she will ever be able to, given that I am brother of the blood with the pillar of that community. Me and Mole are, we respect each other, not just out of clan loyalty, but also on a, what you would say, personal level. I like him. He's a good, well, a standoffish sort, and he's does not think as me, but is totally fine. I can understand some of his arguments. Him and me have, of course, a very different backstory, which this is not what I'm going to talk about. It's relevant, but I do believe that my claim would be, well, quite a substantial one.
She would nod, looking kind of quite relieved almost at
But
that.
I will not announce it. There are very few things that Maria Antoinette hates more than me in this world. I do believe I have come higher on the shit list than you, which is, I know, a bit unbelievable, but I believe it's true. Trust me, the fact that she hates you that much puts you higher in my book in any way. Trust me.
She would smile, probably the first genuine smile she's given since all of this happened.
Not, I know that's not much of a comfort, but trust me. That is
Well,
a vote, well, more than one vote of confidence in my book, but you will not miss too much good. And, well, depending on how we play this, there might be things to do. There's many plans we need to make. First of all, we need to get the Sabbats out of the city. But I do believe that I am, well, you are as well, but with my over, over 200 years of direct experience with her, I do believe I am somewhat uniquely positioned to be able to get under her skin. And that might very, very well play to our advantage. Hmm. But
well,
let's not get ahead of
you know
ourselves.
that you will you will always have my absolute support. Um, Not that it goes for much these days. And she'll kind of laugh a little. Um, I can't quite pull in support the way I once could, but for what it is worth, if there is anything I can do, you know you
I
need only
would
say the
advise
word.
you, I would advise you to branch out. I know that Isaac is busy, but, well, maybe he could teach you some new things. I'm also busy, of course, but, well, if you could in any way branch out, I would suggest that, at least. Grasp some new aspects to life. But one thing you must understand, pretty much everyone has treated you, a few utterance of the words of someone higher up. I understand completely why they do it. But then again, I am with the Camarilla, very much so. But I have a certain, well, way I interact with pretty much everyone. And that is why you do not see me act so differently to K2 or Anax or people in in the depths or in the mainstream of Camarilla membership, and I hope you don't expect it to change. I enjoy your company and enjoy some of the anarchs and some of the Cater's company. So I do not tend to want to make, I mean, why make things difficult for yourself to be a jerk? But they seem to think it is part of the Camarilla to be a complete bastard to anyone under you, and while I can understand it sometimes, uh, when you are in a position in Europe somewhere, it makes perfect sense. If you are in the New World, I see it as a giant problem for yourself and others. That
She
is
she would kind of look down, and her hand would go to her face, and he would get the impression that um she may be um kind of wiping a tear before it falls. She she's just kind of a bit overwhelmed that someone of his station is still showing her so much kindness when so many others haven't. And but she doesn't necessarily want to make that obvious. She doesn't want that to be seen. She'll just kind of try to wipe it away before it falls, before it's visible. Um, and as if she's just kind of touching up her makeup, or at least that's what she hopes he'll think. He'll probably see straight through it. And she would just look up at him. Um, Theodore, I can't thank you enough for the kindness that you continue to show me.
hmm, part of my charm.
Well, you have always been charming, darling. Sorry, Theodore.
Hmm. Well, as I said, it is trying times, but they are very, very instructive and very, very good for yourself. And the fact that you're already beginning to uh, see that lots of relationships have changed, well,
Yeah, and
that is a
I
sign of strength, not a sign of weakness.
I fear that more yet will change. I
Oh, they will. They will. But hmm, Theodore just sits there and it seems for a moment or two like he's thought of something, which is like, well, you might find me in a more social situation with others, being a bit more distant to you for the time being. Know that this has nothing to do with you. This is simply keeping up appearances because, well, I might already be beginning to have a plan for, well, some of the things we might be able to do. It's going to take a little time and well, a bit of luck. But tell me, you recently had a very, very serious falling out with Mr. Spillane.
Yes, um, I know that it was he who caused my most recent punishment at the hands of Marie Antoinette, or more specifically, her child.
Hmm. And you know this because he was suddenly a higher status than before?
Because I I said certain things to him um, regarding Marie Antoinette, not because I had any. real intentions of doing anything of the sort, but merely to test him, if you like. And he then took a little trip, came back with a great deal more prestige than he had when he left, and then I am punished for very similar things to those which I may have said to him. So it does not take Sherlock Holmes to work out that it was he who sold me out.
I can understand such a action will never be forgotten by you.
No, no, it shall not. But you need not worry. I do not intend to cause any problems here in the bunker.
I do not think Mr. Spillane did this out of spite, and I do not think he did it just as a power grab for his own personal gain. That was certainly part of it, if he did it. I have spoken to him after he came home. I believe he has, well, he has certain plans that are ill-informed, since he does not know Maria as I do.
I don't mean to speak disrespectfully or out of turn, Theodore. However, I have known Samuel Spillane for quite some time now, since my first nights here in New York. And he has always been one to look out for number one, if you like. I don't know if his intentions were caused by spite or malice necessarily, but a good dose of selfishness certainly played a part of that. I have no doubt whatsoever.
Neither do I. He is eventually after all. You think it would be, well, it would be more alarming if it didn't, honestly. But I would urge you not to be, well, I will not say what you can and can't do, but save your vengeance for a later day if at all possible. Just antagonizing him now will not help us.
I I shan't
He might be one of
cause.
our best weapons against him. You do realize that, don't you?
Sorry, what did you say there?
He might be one of our best weapons against him.
I would never seek to rob the city of any of the soldiers currently fighting its war. All I seek is, I don't know, perhaps the restoration of the status quo, put it that way.
Quite so. I don't know if I can. Well, it depends quite a lot on how certain things turn out in the next couple of months, I suppose. But he looks at her glass, which she's probably finished,
Yeah,
and he will pour up another glass. And he just
oh,
repeats.
thank you.
He'll
But
pour a glass to himself as well. And
uh,
you've tasted better. It's it's obviously not like it, it's quite alright, and it's human blood, but it's not the like it's not someone who has eaten the best, most full of foods. That's quite distinct in the taste.
she's just grateful to to have a chance to feed. Um, but I I will not attack him or attempt to have anyone else do so. Um, I must admit that that was in the forefront of my mind to begin with, but now my mind has had a chance to clear, and well, I think that things may be put to rights at least somewhat if I have the opportunity to sit down and speak with Sam, just one to one.
Just for the sake of it, please notify me if you plan to do so. I do not want emotions to flare up as they can sometimes. Just to be
Well,
on the safe side. Safe
I'm
side.
I'm hoping to speak with him, um, if not this evening, then sometime soon. I wrote to him and went a little way towards explaining myself. Um, I just I know that things between he and I will certainly never be the same again. That is not my aim in talking with him, but I do wish him to have a clearer understanding of what brought us to this point. It is important to me that he knows that what he did was was not necessary, that there was no breach of the traditions, or I don't know. I think it is important if we are both to remain within this bunker, living in such close proximity to one another, that we clear the air. I don't mean with a fight or a shouting match. I just mean as two individuals sitting across a table from one another, like we are doing now, and talking calmly. I give you my
Good.
word that there shall be no lost temper, at least not from my side.
Good. Good. You will have your hands full with adjustment in the coming nights. It will not be easy, but I do think that you are strong enough to see the value of such lessons. You've already seen some. It's not easy, especially not for a person of your particular background, so to say.
No,
I cannot imagine you've been treated like this very often in your life or unlife.
certainly not. It it is certainly going to take some getting used to, but and she'll kind of try to put on a brave smile. You know, I am tougher than I look. I am a survivor. I will get through this.
With that, I am, well, I am banking and hoping for that. But please, um, I will have to, I have several things I need to see to, but it has been a pleasure as always. Please,
Yes,
Jessica, please. He will follow you out.
she will down the last of the blood, making the most of it while she can, um, and well, um, we'll make her way out.
You'll notice that as he leads you out, he's again, it's not that much you can get from him. But like he is fairly hard to read, but he seems thoughtful. That's the best way to describe it. Like he seems to be juggling quite a few things at the same time. Um, but he does smile and just bids you a good night and heads into his hole.
And she will make her way back to her room.
And with that, we will have our scene come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.